Hey, it's Lily. Let's just listen to a story together. Tonight I'll share with you a tale about love, betrayal, and the secrets hidden right in plain sight. So, lean back, take a deep breath, and let's begin. I knew something was wrong the second the Venmo notification buzzed on my phone, and it wasn't even for me. We were packing up chips after poker night, our fifth one in a row at Mark and Elena's house, when Elena's phone dinged on the kitchen island. It was face up, the case with the tiny sunflowers catching the overhead lights. The screen lit to show a payment from Kay. The note was a jumble of emojis. $10, a dumb amount, a loud message. I am not the kind of friend who snoops, but I am the kind who notices. I've known Mark since he had braces and a bowl cut, since we ditched PE to ride our bikes to the gas station for frozen Cokes. He's the guy who kept an extra toothbrush for me in college because I crashed on his couch so often. And somehow, now, he's the guy with the tidy lawn, the big gray house with white trim, the weekly poker table set up just so, green felt, coasters under every beer, Spotify churning out soft rock nostalgia while the dishwasher hums like a heartbeat. He's also the guy who married the woman everyone calls the glue. Elena plans neighborhood barbecues and arranges photo backdrops with string lights. She makes an espresso that tastes like vacation and remembers everyone's birthdays. 9 years in, she and Mark are the couple of the year, the ones who touch each other's backs without thinking and tag each other in silly reels. Him trying her face mask, her wearing his hoodie. They have a son, Ben, who is 9 and already beats me at Mario Kart. He hugs me with one arm because the other never lets go of his tablet, so I took that Venmo ping like a slap. Not because it proved anything, because it didn't fit. Good hands tonight, Elena said, breaking my stare. She slid a stack of red chips into the drawer with a clean clack. Her perfume, jasmine and laundry, hung in the air. You and your sneaky little straights. It was luck, I said. Don't give me credit I don't deserve. Ha, she said. She smiled that neat camera-ready smile and tucked a loose strand of hair behind her ear. You hungry? I wasn't. The basil from the pizza clung to my fingers, the cheese solidifying in my stomach. Across the room, Mark laughed at something Kellen said, and I felt my spine stiffen. Kellen, my least favorite of the poker circle, was scrolling through Instagram and handing Mark his phone. Look, he said. Look what I found from college. Everyone leaned over. Old photos. Mark in a neon tank top, beer held high. Elena in a hat too big for her, grinning with friends. The thread of their story was so tidy I could have stitched it blindfolded. College sweethearts. A tiny wedding under a stand of maples. First apartment with a balcony just big enough for 2 chairs. And weekly poker nights that started as an excuse for grown men to sit together and ended up as the orbit of everyone's social life. The men were the same 6 more often than not. Me, Mark, Kellen, the twins, Alex and Drew, and the new guy, Noah. Noah came from Drew's office, product manager, quiet until he wasn't. He had a dry way of tossing jokes out like folded paper airplanes that somehow always landed in a perfect line. He joined in June and never missed a week. He brought the good beer and always shuffled when no one else wanted to. The kind of guy who learns how you take your coffee and remembers. Take the leftovers, Elena told me. She packed a Tupperware pile like a mother sending a child to school. Mark will eat chips if I don't intervene. Ben's asleep? I asked, because looking toward the hallway gave me an excuse not to meet her eyes. Out cold. She leaned an elbow on the counter, her glass of seltzer sweating a perfect ring onto the marble. He insisted on staying up to watch one more episode of that nature show. He's on a cheetah kick. Fastest land animal, I said, automatic. Unless you count my patience, she said lightly, and then laughed. It was the kind of joke you make about motherhood when you're very tired and need someone to see it. The table called me back, a chorus of, "You in?" and "Deal the next." When I took my seat between Noah and Alex, I saw Elena float to the living room to stack coasters, then linger by the mantel where the family photos lived. Baby Ben in a pumpkin costume, Elena wearing Mark's baseball cap backward. A shot of all of us at last year's Friendsgiving with paper turkeys on our plates. She picked up the one of her and Mark at the beach, turned it a few degrees, and put it down again. Exactly straight. That's when I saw it. Not the Venmo this time, but the other thing. Elena's phone vibrating silently on the island, again and again. The screen lighting up with a name that started with no. Not Noah, not Noel, not Nora. Just no. Before it dimmed. 3 messages, 5 messages. Then a no preview text. Just the red heart floating in a bubble like a warning flare. Saw that? Noah murmured near my ear. I jumped because I hadn't realized he could see my line of sight. Her phone. It's like Times Square. They're planning something, I said, forcing a shrug. She's always organizing. PTA, book club, you name it. Noah's eyes were green, a color that felt like a forest in late afternoon. He didn't argue. He dropped a queen of spades on the felt and said, "Your bet." I told myself it was nothing. I told myself Venmo was a stupid place to hide anything, that emojis are a lousy language for secrets. I told myself Elena probably paid the babysitter with salsa and roller coaster and shoosh faces because she's whimsical. I lied to myself hard enough to feel noble. 2 weeks later, Kellen brought edibles to poker night, and Elena didn't scold him. She laughed, leaned over his shoulder and said, "Don't give Mark one. He'll eat the entire pantry." She put her hand on Kellen's back for a second too long. I saw Mark clock it and choose not to see it. I saw Noah look at me, then look away. A small muscle jumping in his jaw. I started collecting small, stupid oddities. I told myself I was saving Mark from my paranoia by turning it into evidence. There were the Venmo notes. Public if you knew where to look. One from Kay with a sailboat and a donut. Another from a blank profile with a fox and a lightning bolt. $10, $15, $11. Amounts that felt like inside jokes I wasn't part of. There were the photos Elena didn't post. In drafts. In her head. Wherever. The week she wore winged eyeliner to poker night and a vibrant scarf that didn't match her usual muted palette. The way she stood too close to the window when it got dark out, watching her reflection as much as the street. The way she slipped out to the patio to take a call, whispering, "No, not now. They're here." Before she saw me reflected in the glass and smiled a smile that was all teeth and no eyes. There were the kisses. They started as a rumor in my peripheral vision. 2 shadows passing in the hallway when the rest of us were counting our chips. The soft pop of a refrigerator door opening and closing. Elena's lipstick slightly smudged and then, like magic, perfectly reapplied. One night when Mark spilled beer and Elena kneeling with a cloth, Kellen reached to help her, and she swatted his hand, laughing. A private joke with no other witness. Dangerous, I thought. The way you think of a knife left close to the sink's edge. And there was Ben, who drew a picture for me on the back of a takeout menu. A square for a table, little circles for people. He'd labeled them in slanted 9-year-old letters. Dad, Kellen, Uncle Alex, even though Alex wasn't his uncle. Uncle Drew. He'd drawn me as Cole, that's me, and Elena as Mom, standing, not sitting. Next to her. No, just no. A stick figure with very straight hair and a big oval mouth. "Who's that?" I asked, as lightly as I could. "Just someone," Ben said, and shrugged, but his face was the careful blank of a kid who has learned the cost of telling. I stopped sleeping well. I would lie awake staring at the dim outline of my ceiling fan, replaying laughter from the nights at Mark's, the sound of chips like hail, the click of phones on wood, the soft weight of guilt growing under my ribcage like a bruise I kept touching to see if it still hurt. My choice boiled down to 2 options. Tell Mark now, flaming out the party, or build a careful bridge of proof and try to lead him across. The first is what you do when you're 19 and brave on beer. The second is what you do when you're 35 and understand how easily a life can snap. So I collected. I noted that Elena stopped wearing her ring in the kitchen but wore it at the table. I noticed the hand-shaped crease in the back of her blouse when she returned from checking the laundry. I noticed that Noah started to leave earlier, always with a half-lie about a meeting in the morning. He would squeeze my shoulder when he passed me, something he never did before, like he wanted to communicate a message through bone. The night it broke quietly. It was late August, the kind of sticky evening when even the porch boards feel soft. The twins had begged off. Drew's wife was sick. Alex was on a deadline. So it was just me, Kellen, and Noah with Mark. The 4 of us flopping down cards in a lazy rhythm while Elena cut watermelon and brought us wedges with tiny forks. Ben was at a sleepover, breathless with excitement, and the house felt at once too big and too intimate. Kellen dealt, his bracelets clicking. "Who's in?" he said, and we were, because by then it was habit. Halfway through the second game, Mark's phone started vibrating, that familiar hummingbird sound. He glanced at it, thumb hovering, and then turned it face down. It thrummed again, insistent. He sighed. "Excuse me," he said, like he was in a meeting, and walked to the hall. "Work?" I asked Elena, who had reappeared with a bowl of pretzels like a stagehand hitting her cues. "Probably," she said, but her eyes flicked to Noah for a fraction of a second. "If you hadn't been looking for it, you wouldn't have seen it. If you hadn't been keeping a private ledger of eye flicks, you wouldn't have written it down underlined twice." Mark spoke in the hall in a tight voice, words like deadline and shipment and "if I authorize" floating back to us. Noah took his cards and reshuffled them for no reason, a nervous tick I hadn't seen on him before. Kellen stretched and made a big show of checking the time. Elena set the pretzels down like they might explode. Then her phone buzzed. It was the sound more than anything, the sweet, chirpy tone she'd picked that always cut the air like a bell. She reached for it, and before she could tilt the screen away, the lock screen flashed a Venmo alert, as if taunting me. "You received $12.50 from Kay." The note. "Who keeps paying you in hieroglyphics?" Kellen said, mouth full of pretzel. Elena's smile looked like a sticker. "Oh, it's nothing," she said. "PTA slush fund. PTA is the snake emoji now?" Kellen said, giggling. "Makes sense." She laughed with him, too quickly, and then excused herself to check on the coffee. The kitchen swallowed her. I heard the low hiss of the espresso machine, the softer hiss of a private voice. Noah put his cards down and said very softly, "Cole, yeah? What would you do?" he asked. "If you thought someone you cared about was walking toward a cliff and didn't know it?" I looked toward the hallway where Mark was still talking about shipments. I thought about cliffs and the way the earth looks solid until it isn't. "I'd yell," I said. "But that's me." Noah drummed his fingers once, twice, then stood. "Be right back," he said, and followed Elena, and I followed him. I don't like the version of me that sneaks down hallways in houses where I'm loved. But I am, as I said, the kind of friend who notices. I kept a distance, enough that my steps were the sigh of carpet, not footsteps. The kitchen lights were low, the under-cabinet glow turning everything a little unreal. Noah stood with his back to me, his head bent. Elena was near the sink, phone face down beside the drying rack. She wasn't crying. That's important. She was steady as a metronome. "Not here," she was saying. "You know better." "I know," Noah said. His voice had a ragged edge I hadn't heard before. "But the signals," she laughed not kindly. "Signals? What is this? High school?" She stepped closer and then closer again, until her hand was flat on his chest, in a way that should have been a push and wasn't. "We take what we can when we can. That's the deal." "Is it?" Noah asked. "Is that still the deal?" Something in the question sliced through my denial like a fin through water. The air felt crowded. I thought of Ben in his cheetah pajama pants, and Mark in his careful faith, and the way we all arrange our lives like poker chips, certain the pile can't tumble. I thought of the little emojis, the way they gossiped in broad daylight. "Hey," Elena said suddenly, her eyes moving past Noah's shoulder to land on me. She didn't flinch. "Cole? Looking for sugar?" She said it like a joke, and I felt my face go hot. "Coffee," I said. "Yeah." Noah turned. His mouth opened and closed. He looked like a man standing in a room that just shifted 2 inches to the left. And then Mark's voice boomed from the hall. "Are we still playing or what?" Elena stepped back from Noah so smoothly you couldn't see the seams. She pulled 2 mugs from the cabinet, measured grounds with the same precision she used to line up photo frames. "Coming," she chirped, bright as a bird. To me, under her breath. "You should decide what you want to be in this, Cole." "In what?" I asked, even though I already knew. "In the story," she said. "Hero, audience, or obstacle." We carried coffee back to the table like people carrying incense. Kellen was scrolling TikTok, humming at some dance. Mark returned to his seat, kissed Elena's temple, and said, "Sorry, babe." He looked at me. "You good?" "Yeah," I lied. "Dealing?" "Deal away," Mark said. "I'm feeling lucky." We played until midnight. We laughed at the right places. We let the song playlist run all the way to the oldies nobody ever changes. When Noah left, he pressed my hand for a beat too long. When Kellen left, he winked. Elena stood in the doorway with her sunflower case and said, "Text when you're home." Mark clapped my shoulder the way he always has. I felt like a man leaving a play where the curtain hasn't fallen yet. I sat in my car at the curb with the engine off and stared at the upstairs window where Mark and Elena's bedroom light glowed. My phone lit with a text from Mark. "Thanks for another good one." And then a second later, one from an unknown number. "You saw enough tonight. Don't make this worse. No name, just a rocket and a wave. I typed 3 different responses and deleted them all. Then, because I couldn't stop myself, I opened Venmo and searched Elena's name. I scrolled past the public payments until I hit one from 2 days ago. A $13.13 from N. The note. Dice and lips. I didn't sleep. I washed the smell of jasmine off my hands that didn't exist there. I lay on my couch and watched the streetlight draw lines on my ceiling. Around 3 a.m., a car rolled by slow and then sped up. Around 4, a cat howled like a ghost. At 5:30, my phone vibrated again. A message from Noah. Please don't tell him yet. Give me till Monday. I owe you the truth. I stared at it until the sun turned my blinds into slats of gold, until the garbage truck bellowed and the world reassembled. I typed, "You have 2 days." I typed, "If you're lying to me, I'll tell him in front of you." I didn't send either. I put the phone face down and made coffee that tasted like nothing. Monday, I told myself. 2 days to decide if I was a hero, audience, or obstacle. 2 days for the ground to open. On Sunday night, as if the universe was done with hints, Mark texted me. Poker on Wednesday? Same crew. Elena wants to do tacos. A smiling face. A thumbs up. The certainty of routines. The generosity of the naive. And then, because the world takes and takes, another text popped up. From Kellen. Bro. Need your advice. Snake emoji. Target emoji. And a pin drop. See you Wednesday. I was still staring when my screen lit again. A new Venmo notification. This time mine. $10 from N. The note. Ice. My fingers went cold around the phone. The message attached to it came through a second later, as if the delivery system wanted to be sure I was looking. Wednesday. Kitchen. After the third hand. A second line. Promise you won't do anything dramatic. And then, like punctuation meant to change everything and nothing, a single black spades. I didn't hit like. I didn't respond. I threw the phone on the couch and walked out into the deep blue of early evening. Every porch light in the neighborhood flicked on like a series of tiny warnings. I stood on my stoop and breathed the smell of cut grass and faraway grills and the faint sweetness of someone's laundry vent. I tried to imagine any version of this ending without blood, without broken dishes, without the sound of Ben's heart cracking in a way he wouldn't understand until he was 25 and standing in a kitchen somewhere, holding a coffee mug like a shield. Wednesday, I thought. Third hand. Kitchen. Decide, Elena had told me. Hero. Audience. Obstacle. I didn't know yet, but I knew I'd be there. I knew I was past the point of pretending I hadn't seen. So when Wednesday came, when the table was set with chips and tiny forks for the tacos, and Ben's laughter drifted down from the stairs like a soft rope I couldn't grab, I walked in with my best poker face and a promise I wasn't sure I could keep. On the second hand, Mark won with a flush and pumped his fist like a kid. On the third hand, Noah folded early and stood to refill his drink. Elena followed him with a napkin in her fingers like a flag. I glanced at Kellen. He raised his eyebrows, slow, and then he did a thing I didn't expect. He touched his wrist, tapped twice, and mouthed, "Now." I stood up. My chair legs scraped the floor. A small sound, but loud enough to snap the air like a twig. "Bathroom," I said to Mark. "Be right back." He nodded, happy and careless. I walked toward the kitchen. The hallway felt longer than usual. The hum of the refrigerator grew like a curious animal. I turned the corner and saw them. Not Elena and Kellen. Not Elena and Noah. Elena stood by the sink, eyes bright and back straight. Noah hovered at the island, hands braced. And between them, like a door I hadn't known could open, stood the person I, of all people, should have guessed. "Cole," he said, cool as winter. "Close the door." It wasn't Kellen. It wasn't a stranger. It was Alex. Alex said, "Close the door," like it was the most ordinary request in the world. Like we were about to talk fantasy football standings instead of the way a life cracks. I shut it because my body obeys authority before my brain does. The latch clicked. The refrigerator hummed. Elena's fingers tightened on the napkin until it looked like something you'd pull out of a mouth. Noah didn't look surprised. He looked relieved and wrecked at the same time, like a man who's finally pulled a splinter and now has to stare at the wound. "Cole," Alex said again, lowering his voice, smooth as a DJ. He had that tan he gets every August, the kind you can't buy, and an old band tee threadbare at the collar. If you'd asked me to pick the one guy least likely to blow up our circle, I would have pointed with both hands at him. The twins, Alex and Drew, were the constants. They were the steady halves of a coin flip. Alex kept score when nobody else wanted to. He brought the folding chairs when we were short and took out the recycling. He was Mark's first call when the basement flooded last winter. They spent 4 hours bailing water with a $2 dustpan, laughing and swearing like they were back in a dorm. "Don't," I said, and my voice came out hoarse. "Don't say my name like I'm on your team." He tilted his head like he was considering a chess move. He didn't look ashamed. He didn't look proud either. Just present. "You got my text?" I almost laughed. The Venmo, the black spade. "You sent me ice," I said. "What does that mean?" "It means keep your cool," Alex said. He looked to Elena. "Can you?" Elena snapped out of whatever trance she'd been in. She turned, poured water into a glass, and set it in front of me with a small clink that sounded like punctuation. "Cole," she said, softer now. "We never wanted—" "Stop," Noah said, not to me, to her. "You don't get to frame it like a mercy." For the first time since I'd walked in, something like a crack ran across Elena's composure. She pressed her lips together. I saw the tiny tremor in her hand, a pulse that didn't match the room. I leaned against the island because my legs were a little unreliable. "How long?" I asked Alex. "Has this been going on?" He shrugged, and the nonchalance of that movement hit me like a door. "A while," he said. "Months." He glanced toward the hall, toward Mark's outline in the other room if you squinted through the drywall. "Since spring." "Elena?" I forced the name out like a test I didn't want to know the answer to. She met my eyes, and what I saw there was not flirty, not coy. It was clear water. "Late April," she said. "After Ben's birthday party, after everyone left and the balloons were still tied to the chairs and Mark fell asleep on the couch with frosting on his thumb." Her voice did something at the end of the sentence I couldn't describe. A bend, a weather change. A picture clicked into place in my head. Late April, the night we'd stayed after to help clean. I'd collected streamers. Alex had collected trash. Elena had laughed at something on her phone. I'd been standing right here, probably with a plastic cup in my hand. The memory was a photograph that had always had something in the corner I hadn't zoomed in on. Noah cleared his throat. "It's not what you think," he said automatically, like the words were on a card he kept in his wallet for emergencies. So tell me what I think, I snapped, angrier at him than at either of them for reasons that made no sense. Alex lifted his palms. He knew, he said of Noah. I mean, not from the jump, but he put it together. Those texts, Noah said. But I'm not. He caught himself. I shouldn't be the one explaining. Then don't, I said. Let her. I looked back at Elena with the kind of stare that would have made anyone else squirm. She didn't. She nodded like I was a teacher calling on her. I wanted more risk, she said. I wanted to feel a thing that wasn't planned down to the napkin color. That's ugly to say out loud, I know. She twisted the napkin, kept twisting it. It wasn't because I don't love Mark. I do. I love him like I love oxygen. You can't just... I started, but she wasn't done. She told me, steady but not rehearsed, about the way the house had become a calendar. PTA on Tuesdays, piano on Thursdays, tacos on poker night because it's easy to set up and clean after. Routine is a kindness, she said. It holds a family together, but it's also a kind of sedative, and I was so numb. I stopped wanting to be touched, and then I wanted to be touched by something that might burn me. I looked at Alex in spite of myself. He didn't look like gasoline. He looked like the guy who once drove 30 miles to bring me my wallet when I left it at a movie theater. What about Kellen? I blurted. The Venmo K, the snake in Target. You can't pull that thread and not follow where it goes. Elena made a face. Kellen? Her laugh was a tiny, bitter spark. He's a toddler with a credit card. The K on Venmo is our PTA treasurer, Karen. We make it funny because we're bored out of our skulls. And the hearts, I said, thinking of the red icons lighting up her lock screen. Group chat from the school moms, she said. We figured out you can heart people's signups for potlucks, and then the dopamine hits you like you did a good deed. I felt my anger stumble and rearrange. The story is never clean, and that should have made me feel better. It didn't. What about the emojis with the payments from N? I asked, because if I couldn't control the situation, I could at least collect details like beads. Dice and lips. Noah lifted his hand halfway, a guilty student. Me, he said. Not what you think. I bought the poker set from her for the fundraiser, remember? We did that silent auction in June. He looked at me, pleading. I'm not the guy, Cole, but you're in it, I said. He swallowed. I'm in it, he agreed. Because once I knew it felt like holding someone else's grenade. Alex spoke before I could. He tried to make me stop, he said, almost smiling at the absurdity. Of all people, Mr. Policy Manual. He jerked his chin toward the living room. He said, Alex, you're about to salt the only field we all know how to grow anything in. Noah flushed. I said it better than that. You said it like that, Alex said, not unkindly. And I heard you. And then I didn't. The kitchen felt like a triangle. Every line connected to every other, tight and singing. What about Drew? I asked. Because if there was a world where one twin was doing this and the other didn't know, I wanted to live in it. Does your brother? No, Alex said at once. And that one was rock. Absolutely not. Good, I said, and the word came out like a door slammed against weather. Keep it that way. There was a half second where none of us spoke, and the silence threw a spotlight on the round of laughter from the dining room. Mark, mid-story, hitting the part where he makes Alex spray his drink. I could see it like a split screen in my head. My best friend out there, shuffling, smiling, his shoulders loose. the back of his neck soft where the hair curls. The man who brought a spare toothbrush to college. Why me? I asked finally. Why the texts to me? Why kitchen after the third hand? Why the spade? Alex rubbed his jaw like he was stalling. He wasn't. Because I trust you to measure, he said. You're the meter stick on the wall, Cole. If I told Kellen, we'd be bleeding by now. If I told Drew, he'd tell me to pick a team and stick with it, and then he'd spend the next decade trying not to be disappointed. His mouth twitched, not a smile. You, I thought. You'd keep it in the air. You'd keep Mark safe long enough for me to... To what? I snapped. The anger found me again and I welcomed it. To do what? Break his heart behind a curtain? Give a speech at Ben's 10th birthday about how you finally manscaped your conscience? Alex winced like the words had weight. To tell him, he said. And not ruin his favorite night forever. Elena let the napkin go. It unfolded on the counter like a white flag that didn't know what battle it belonged to. He's not a villain, she said quietly, meaning Alex. And neither am I. So who gets that role? I asked. Me, if I say something? The truth? They didn't answer because there wasn't one that wouldn't crater the floor. The door swung a little with the draft when Kellen walked by in the hall. He didn't come in. He paused long enough to check his reflection in the glass of the oven and fluff his hair. Then he moved on, oblivious. His cologne bled in under the door frame. Something citrusy that didn't match his face. Noah exhaled. We were sloppy, he said. I was sloppy. I knew and I didn't. He stopped, started over. Mark trusts me. He told me his salary last month like it was no big deal. He asks me what sneakers to buy for Ben because I know the difference between the ones that fall apart and the ones that don't. And I spent the summer deciding whether to be the guy who detonated his life or the guy who let someone else push the button. I looked at Elena because for all the male mouth foam, the center was her. Do you want me to tell him? I asked. Simple as pulling a pin. Right now, I can. I'll do it like ripping a Band-Aid. Her eyes shone in a way that wasn't tears. It was something messier. Something with hope's DNA and guilt's fingerprints. No, she said. But also yes. Which is it? I said, feeling something like disgust at how human that answer was. Pick a lane. She blew out a breath. I don't know, she admitted. I want to be good, and I want to be happy, and I want to be brave, and I want to disappear. Sometimes all in the same hour. You want risk, I said, because she'd given me that word, and words are binding. And responsibility, she said. I'm not dropping my son into a void because his mother needed to feel her blood. I won't. That's not the story. We stood there with the ice cube of it between us, none of us knowing where to set it down. From the dining room, Mark called. Sing-song. You-hoo? We folding or playing or doing a group therapy I wasn't invited to? Alex straightened. He looked at me like we were on a cliff edge together, which, of course, we were. Give me till Sunday, he said. I'll tell him then. Not here, not on poker night, not with tacos. I thought about Monday's text from Noah, about my unsent threats, about a 9-year-old's drawing labeled no and a guy named Alex who had always been the one to bring extra chairs. I thought about the way routines are kindness and sedative. And then I thought about promises and how they're only as good as the person making them. No, I said. Their faces shifted like weather. No more extensions, not Sunday, not later. You tell him tonight or I do. Elena, Alex started. Don't Elena me, she snapped. And there was the crack again, bigger. "He's right." She set both palms on the counter like she was bracing for a wave. "I am not living with this truth slithering through our vents. If he's going to hate me, he gets to start the clock." The door pushed again, small feet this time. Ben, in socks, peered in, hair sticking up, face flushed from running. "Mom," he said, oblivious to the geometry of grown-up faces. "Dad said, can I have the churro bites now or after?" He trailed off, eyes landing on Alex, then on me, then on the white napkin unfolded like a truce that hadn't been signed. Children read rooms with the economy of spies. He couldn't decode the content, but he read the temperature drop. "After," Elena said, voice instantly sunny, the way mothers can flip a switch to keep a roof from falling. "After the next hand. Go wash your hands, Cheetah." He grinned. "Fastest land animal," he said and scampered away. Alex looked like he might be sick. Noah looked like he might pray. Elena looked like the worst version of a superhero, the kind who has to save 3 people while she's the one on fire. "Okay," I said, and the word surprised me with how steady it was. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to tell him. Not tomorrow, not Sunday. After we put Ben to bed. I will be in the house. If your voice fails, I'll say the words. If you try to soften them into nonsense, I'll cut through. If you stall..." "I won't," Alex said, but his voice was fragile paper. "If you stall," I repeated, "I will do it for you. And if either of you run this like a con, if you tell him some version that makes this seem like anyone else's choice but yours, I'm going to walk into that room right now and drop it on the table between the chips." Elena nodded like the judge had read the sentence she knew she deserved. Noah sagged, as if the posture he'd been holding up, the one labeled responsible bystander, had finally been allowed to sit. "Cole," Alex said, "if I lose him..." "You did," I said, "and I don't know if I meant you already did or you will in an hour." I didn't know anything except that the clock had started. We walked back the way people walk toward a storm because there's no other direction. Elena wiped her eyes and then her hands, composure like a dress she buttoned while moving. Alex rolled his shoulders once as if preparing to lift something heavy. Noah scooped up the water glass and carried it like a prop, because men love to hold on to the one thing that isn't charged. When we rounded the corner, the table eased into focus. Mark grinned at us, a little roguish, the way he gets when he thinks he's got your number. "Finally," he said. "I was about to reshuffle your fate." "Bathroom line?" I lied, and I hated how easy it was. We finished the third hand with the kind of performative normal that deserves an award. Kellen told a story about an influencer who DM'd him a cactus. The twins' empty chairs glared at me, one literal, one metaphorical. Ben's giggle floated down again and landed like a butterfly on the back of my neck. After that hand, Elena stood. "Dessert," she said brightly. "Wash up first, Benji." She touched Mark's shoulder, the kind of domestic touch that has history in it. He leaned into it on reflex. It almost broke me. I followed Ben to the sink, watched him scrub like he was auditioning for surgery. "You got soap on your elbow," I said. He laughed and flicked a little bubble at me. When he ran upstairs, I caught his wrist gently and said, "Brush teeth," and he rolled his eyes, which saved me. The normalcy of that eye roll, the cliché of it, the millions of parents and not parents who had survived that exact micro-confrontation. I loved him with a confusing, useless intensity then. like I loved my own knees when they carry me upstairs without complaint. Elena turned off the music, not abruptly, like she remembered something and then remembered how to do it differently. Noah looked up, quick, a prey animal. Kellen stood. "Bathroom," he said, and ghosted away, missing it by a minute like a man who always misses trains by the length of a cigarette. Alex put his cards down one at a time, like a ritual he was inventing to buy 30 more seconds. He looked at Mark. The air thickened. I swear the refrigerator held its breath. "Hey," Alex said, soft. Mark looked up, curious and open, like he always has been with Alex. Like a boy at a sleepover waiting to hear if they're going to sneak out. "What?" Mark smiled. "You finally going to confess you've been counting cards since 2009? Alex's mouth twitched. "I need to say something," he said, and the words didn't break the room, but they put a hairline crack down the middle that everyone could see. "And I need you to hear it all the way. And I need you not to hate me while I'm saying it, even if you hate me after." Mark's smile faded, not in a dramatic sag, but in a series of small adjustments. Eyes less crinkled, mouth less sure. "Okay," he said, and glanced at me. I failed to give him whatever face he needed. He looked at Elena. She looked back like a window you can see through and also see yourself in. He looked at Noah last, and Noah put the water down so carefully it was a prayer. Alex inhaled. The door to the stairs creaked. Ben, wandering back, hugging the banister. Elena moved fast, faster than I've seen her move outside an airport. Intercepted him mid-step with a popcorn bowl and a whisper. "Movie night upstairs, Cheetah. Dad and the guys are boring. I'll be up in 2. She kissed his head. He pogoed away. Alex started again. He stopped, looked at me. I nodded, the smallest possible motion that still counted. He tried again. "Mark, I crossed a line with Elena." The words landed so gently they didn't sound like a betrayal. They sounded like an unfortunate parking job. Mark blinked. "What line?" he said, reflexively skeptical, because the brain asks for definitions when it doesn't want pictures. Alex swallowed. "A line you don't cross," he said. "And if you know him, you know that's as close to poetry as he gets. There's a way a room hushes that feels like gravity got turned up. You can feel the hairs on your arms lie down." I watched Mark's pupils flick, tiny, as he ran the quick math from the vague to the specific. It didn't take long. It never does when the variable you're solving for is a person you love. He went pale in a way only men with summer tans can go pale. His tongue touched the back of his teeth like he was tasting something new and bitter. "Say it," Mark said, in a voice that made the table feel like a witness stand. "I kissed Elena," Alex said. Then, because I was there, and maybe because he owed us the whole unredacted thing, he added, "More than once." The dishwasher clicked, oblivious. Noah shifted and his chair squeaked a confession. Elena put her hand on the table. She didn't reach for Mark. She set her palm flat like she was anchoring herself to the earth. Mark didn't speak for a long 6 seconds. I know because I counted them like breaths. Then, "When?" "Since April," Alex said, and it was merciful that he didn't lie. Mark flinched like that answer had been thrown. He looked at me. "You knew," he said. Not a question, and I hated how accurate his read of my face was. He knows my tells. He knows when I'm holding a pear and pretending it's a straight. "Not for long," I said, which is not the same as no. "I found out. I came tonight to..." To what? He said gently, more gentle than I deserved. Watch the show? No, I said, and my voice cracked in a way that told the truth. To make sure you heard it from someone who loves you. That would be a new experience, he said, and the smile he made then was small and sharp, and a weapon he didn't know he owned. Kellen walked back in carrying the dumb novelty hand soap he loves, saw Alex's face, saw Mark's, and stopped like he'd run into glass. He said. Should I? Sit, I said without looking at him. He sat. Mark turned his head toward Elena like the earth slowly switching its tilt. You, he said. She didn't dodge. She nodded once. Yes, she said. I'm so... She stopped, swallowed the apology like it was going to come out pre-chewed. I wanted something dangerous, she said instead. I thought I could quarantine it. I was wrong. I'm sorry, and I know that isn't the currency that fixes this. My God, Mark said softly. He put his hands under the table and then back on top like he didn't trust where they might go. In the house? Not when Ben was here, she said quickly. Then, because honesty. But yes, sometimes. This room, the hall, the laundry. She cut herself off, horrified by her own specifics. Jesus, Kellen whispered, because Kellen can't help narrating. Noah stood up so fast his chair did a little dance. Mark, he said. I knew, and I'm sorry I froze, and Mark held up a hand without looking at him. A traffic cop for pain. Not you, he said. And Noah sat like a puppet whose strings had been cut. There's this thing Mark does when he's overwhelmed. He touches the back of his neck and smooths down hair that isn't sticking up. He did it then. His fingers found the exact place I'd noticed earlier, the soft curl at the base. He smoothed. How long were you going to let me play cards at this table? He asked the room. While the house burned down around me, Alex didn't cry. I want that on the record, not because it would have made him less, but because the way he didn't cry felt like devotion of a terrible kind. I was going to tell you tonight, he said, with me as his human lie detector right beside him. Mark barked out a laugh that wasn't a laugh. What a gift, he said. In my own house, with churro bites. Elena flinched. We can go somewhere else, she said. We can talk in our room. Our, Mark repeated. And there it was. The fracture you can hear like ice breaking on a lake. No. We'll talk here, in front of our friends, since that's where this lives, in front of Cole, since he appointed himself my angel of mercy. Don't, I said, helpless. I'm not mad at you, he said, and it hurt worse than if he'd spit. I'm mad at the part of me that felt safe enough to stop looking. Ben thumped down the hall again. Elena went white around the mouth and met him at the threshold with the kind of cheerful chit-chat that should win awards. She steered him with practiced forearms, a shepherd, a magician. Up, she sang. Up, up, up. He went, grumbling. The world kept offering us chances to be decent. When he was gone, Mark turned to Alex and, because this is who he is, asked him a practical question. Drew, he said. Does he know? No, Alex said, and hung on that word like it was a rope over a pit. I swear. Okay, Mark said, and then stood up. Okay. He walked around the table, and for a second my muscles coiled on instinct, because this is where the cliché would live. The punch, the crash. But Mark stopped at the mantel, put his forehead against a photo of Ben in a pumpkin costume, and stayed very still. "You don't get to fix this tonight," he said finally, voice scraping. "You don't get to tell me the shape of the aftermath. You don't get to make a schedule for how I'm going to feel." "No," Elena said, an agreement that cost her something, I could tell. "I don't. Good," he said. He turned. "You," he told Alex. "You need to go. You don't come back here. You don't come on Wednesdays. You don't come anywhere I might also be until I tell you I can stand it." Alex nodded like a man being led out of church. He didn't argue. He didn't ask for one last anything. He put his keys in his pocket, and I watched his hand shake for the first time. He looked at me, and in his eyes I saw the thing no one puts in movies. Not love, not lust, not grief, but inventory. He was counting the things he had and the things he'd lost, and the column had flipped. "Okay," he said. "I'm sorry." Kellen stood as if pulled by a wire and hugged him in that half-man way, their shoulders knocking. "Text me," Kellen whispered, "because even fools know how to triage." Alex nodded and left, quiet as a secret finally told. When the door shut, the house made a sound I've only ever heard in churches after the last hymn. A long, low exhale. Elena's shoulders sagged. Noah wiped his face with his sleeve like he'd been sweating. Mark sank into his chair. He stared at his hands a long time. When he looked up, he looked at me, straight and clean. "You're staying," he said. Not a question. "You're going to help me put Ben to bed, and then you're going to sit on my couch while I decide whether to scream or sleep. You're not going to leave me alone in my house with the echo of that sentence." "Okay," I said, heart thrumming like something trapped. "I'm staying." Elena opened her mouth, closed it. "I'll tell Ben I'm at book club," she whispered. And there it was, the first lie that was mostly a shield. Mark didn't correct her. Sometimes mercy looks like letting someone else lie to your child in a softer voice. We cleaned up in a silence that bruised. I stacked plates. Kellen kept trying to make himself smaller and failed. Noah took the trash out, and it felt like he was taking out a body. The taco shells, once crisp, drooped. Ben patted down one last time for a sip of water, because that's what children do when houses are about to shift. Mark caught him and scooped him up and kissed the top of his head with a sound I felt in my teeth. "Upstairs, Rocket," he said, voice steady. "I'm coming. We're going to pick a movie so bad it breaks the TV." "What about Alex?" Ben mumbled into his shoulder. "He always—" "New lineup," Mark said. And it was a small miracle the way he didn't choke on it. "New season." When they disappeared up the stairs, Elena and I stood in the kitchen alone. The room we'd both memorized in different languages. She looked at the mantel, at the photos, at the coaster stack she'd set with care. "I know I don't get to ask you for anything," she said, "but I'm going to anyway. Please don't let him make a religion out of hating me." "I won't let him make anything," I said, and it was cruel but true. "He gets a free night to feel whatever fits." She nodded. She picked up the napkin she'd mangled and smoothed it, then gave up and threw it away. "I wanted risk," she said, to the sink, to herself, to me. "I got it." The front door opened again. Drew walked in, breathless, hair damp from the mist outside. "Sorry," he called, cheerful, oblivious, holding up a six-pack like a peace offering to a war he didn't know existed. "Traffic was a—" He stopped dead. The room told him the story in a second. He looked at his brother's empty chair. He looked at Elena's face. He looked at me like I held the list of the dead. "What?" he said, voice already thin. Elena and I both spoke at once. Her saying, "Drew," me saying, "Maybe not now." He set the beer on the counter without looking and took a step backward like the floor had tilted under his feet. "Where is he?" Drew asked me, because that's what you do. You ask the person who looks like they know. "Where's Alex?" "Not here," I said. Drew breathed in, then out. Then he did that twin thing where his face became Alex's for a second, and I felt the future yawning open under all of us. "What happened?" he said, more like a statement than a question, and I couldn't tell if he was asking me or the room or God. Before I could answer, Mark's voice floated down, mild, almost conversational. "Cole, after I put him down, we need to talk about what stays and what goes." The what wasn't chairs and coasters. It wasn't even poker. Drew looked from the stairs to me to Elena again, clocked the gravity, and realized he wasn't the planet in this model tonight. He nodded once, the kind of nod that says, "I will be a problem later, but not now," and stepped back toward the door. "Text me," he told me in a low voice as he left, and that was when I understood that the fallout had directions I hadn't mapped. The house settled again. The upstairs floor creaked. A cartoon theme song started low and tinny. Ben's laughter stitched the air and almost held. I stood in the doorway of the dining room and watched Elena fix the picture of the beach, turn it 2 degrees, and then leave it crooked. Kellen whispered, half to me, half to the salsa bowl. "So, poker night is canceled, right?" I didn't answer. Some questions belong to a lighter world. I heard the soft murmur of Mark's voice upstairs, the cadence of a bedtime story repeated enough times to become a spell. I waited in the bottom of the stomach hush for him to come down and point at the things that were leaving his life tonight. Chairs, maybe. Friends, maybe. Illusions. Definitely, my phone lit. A Venmo notification. My heart lurched. Stupid muscle. $10 from A. The note, a house and a fire extinguisher. I stared at it while the stairs creaked with Mark's return, while Elena slid her wedding ring on and off like a code, while Noah stood with the trash bag like a penitent. I stared until the numbers blurred and the emojis doubled. "What stays and what goes," Mark said when he reached the bottom step. His voice had a calm that scared me worse than a shout. He looked directly at Elena, then at me. "And before we start, Cole?" "Yeah," I said. "Did you ever—" He stopped, tried again. "Why didn't you tell me the first hour you knew?" I opened my mouth. The truth is a handful of beads and they scatter when you hold them wrong. I reached for one. "Because I wanted to bring you the whole thing, not just a rumor," I said. "Because I didn't trust myself not to make it about me. Because I was afraid." He nodded like each one landed and made a sound. "Okay," he said. Then he sat, folded his hands, and said the sentence that made the floor tilt in a new direction. "I think I already know what goes." He turned the ring Elena had set on the table with the tip of his finger. It spun once, caught the light, and fell flat with the smallest sound. Upstairs, Ben laughed at something a cartoon dog did, unaware that somewhere below, the shape of his house was changing in real time. "Start with the table," Mark said. "We're going to say some things on it you can't unsay." He reached for the deck, shuffled by habit, and dealt 3 cards face up between us like he was divining something. A spade, a heart, a club. "Cole," he said, not looking up, and his voice was a bridge I didn't know how to cross. Are you with me or with the story they're about to tell? I opened my mouth, and that's when the front door opened a second time, harder, a gust pushing it wide, and a voice said, urgent and strange, "Don't make any decisions tonight. Drew." Back already, eyes bright with a knowledge he hadn't had 5 minutes before, breathless with the kind of fact that changes the math. He held up his phone like a lantern, because there's something you all need to see. Drew stood in the doorway holding his phone like it was radioactive. His face was pale under the porch light glow, hair plastered to his forehead from the mist outside. He didn't step all the way in. He looked like someone about to shout fire in a theater. Elena froze with her ring between her fingers. Noah set the trash bag down with a soft thud. Kellen muttered, "Oh boy," and slid halfway behind a chair. Mark didn't move. He just leaned back in his seat, hands clasped, gaze locked on his twin like he was trying to read him before he spoke. "What is it?" Mark asked. Calm. But the kind of calm you hear from a man bracing for an earthquake. Drew glanced at Elena, then at me, then back at Mark. "I wasn't going to get involved tonight," he said, breath ragged. "I figured, you've got enough." But then I got in the car and the messages kept coming. I can't sit on it. "Messages from who?" Mark asked. "From Alex," Drew said. His voice cracked on the name. "He's outside." Elena swore under her breath. Noah closed his eyes. Mark didn't flinch. "Then why are you carrying his words?" "Because he's a coward," Drew said, bitterness sharp. "Because he knew I'd come back in." He held the phone higher, thumb hovering. "He sent me screenshots." The word screenshots landed heavy. I felt the tension tighten across the table like a drawn rope. "Of what?" I asked, even though I already knew. Drew's jaw worked. "Venmo, texts, pictures." His throat bobbed. "Cole, he wanted me to show you too." He flicked his eyes toward me, then snapped them back to Mark. Mark extended his hand across the table, palm up, steady. "Give me the phone." Drew didn't move. His arm twitched once. He looked at his brother's open hand like it was a cliff. "Mark." "The phone," Mark repeated. "Or I walk out that door and get it myself." The house was so quiet you could hear the cartoon dog upstairs bark from Ben's TV. Drew placed the phone in Mark's hand like surrendering a weapon. Mark angled the screen. His eyes flicked fast across the images. 1, 2, 3. His lips parted slightly. Then his mouth shut tight like he was holding back something corrosive. He swiped again. His fingers were steady, but his shoulders shook once, a tremor that passed down his arms. "Jesus Christ," Kellen whispered. "It's real." "What is it?" Elena demanded, but her voice was brittle. "What did he send?" Mark didn't answer right away. He set the phone on the table and slid it toward me without looking. I picked it up. The first screenshot was Venmo. $14.75 from Elena to Alex. The note. Dice and a black heart. Public but invisible if you weren't looking. The second. A text thread. Elena's name at the top. Her. Tonight? Alex. Kitchen after third hand. Her. You're insane. Alex. You love it. The third was a photo. Blurry, angled like it was taken fast. Alex and Elena, side by side in this very kitchen. She was leaning into him, his hand against the counter, their mouths a breath apart. Not quite kissing, but enough. More than enough. I handed the phone back. My throat was dry. "It's them," I said quietly. It's proof. Elena's face crumpled, then hardened. That's months old, she snapped. Too fast, too desperate. He's twisting it. Stop. Mark's voice cut her off like a blade. Don't you dare try to litigate timestamps with me. He shoved the phone across the table at her. Do you deny it? She didn't. She stared at the image, then at the table, then at me like maybe I'd hand her an escape rope. I had nothing. Noah stood up again, restless. Mark, listen. Sit down, Mark said, quiet but lethal. Noah sat. Drew shifted on his feet, uneasy. I shouldn't have brought it in like this, he muttered. But Alex, he's out there in his car, Mark. He's a wreck. Mark laughed once, a sound that wasn't humor. He's a wreck? He tapped the photo with one finger. I'm looking at my wreck. Elena pressed her palms to her temples. I was going to tell you. When? Mark snapped. At our son's wedding? When the mortgage was paid off? His face flushed deep. How many times did you kiss him in this house while I was tucking Ben in? How many nights did I shuffle cards while you shuffled? He stopped, words strangling. Elena's eyes filled. She shook her head like a swimmer refusing to drown. I never wanted... You did, Mark cut in. You wanted it enough to put it in emojis. He slapped the table once, flat palm. Enough to use our kitchen like a motel. The silence after was heavy enough to crush. I caught Noah's eyes. He looked like he might be sick. Kellen fiddled with his bracelets, jaw clenched tight for once. Drew stared at the floor like he'd rather disappear. Elena, Mark said, softer now, almost too soft. Look at me. She did. Do you love him? Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. The answer, when it came, was a whisper. No, not like I love you. Mark's face broke in a way I can't describe. Not tears. Something deeper. Like the scaffolding that held his entire life had just buckled. I wanted to reach for him, to grab his arm the way we used to when we were kids and the bullies came close. But I didn't move. He was too far away, and maybe he needed the space. He stood, pushed his chair back, walked to the mantel and picked up the photo of the three of them at the beach. He stared at it like he was memorizing a language. Then he set it down gently, too gently. Everybody out, he said. Elena stiffened. Mark, you stay, he told her. His voice was low, controlled, terrifying. Everybody else out. Mark, don't do this alone, I said, rising. I said out, he repeated, louder now. His eyes met mine, sharp. Cole, if you've ever been my friend, you'll leave me this room. I hesitated, heart hammering, but Drew tugged my sleeve. Kellen shuffled toward the door. Noah lingered, torn, until Mark's stare burned him down. We filed out, the door shut behind us. In the hallway, the house seemed to sag under the weight. We stood there, me, Drew, Noah, Kellen, silent and stupid, like soldiers who'd survived the blast but not the war. From the kitchen came voices, muffled but rising. Mark's, Elena's, the scrape of a chair, the crash of something breaking, maybe a glass, maybe the dam. Drew rubbed his face. He's not going to forgive him, he muttered. He shouldn't, Noah said, grim. But he's my brother, Drew snapped. And Mark's too, I said. My voice was raw. Which is why this is hell. We all flinched when the shouting stopped abruptly. The silence that followed was worse than the noise. I stepped closer to the door, straining to hear. Nothing. Then Mark's voice, low but steady, filtered through. "You've got until morning. Pack a bag." The words landed like a verdict. Elena's sob followed a second later, sharp and broken. I closed my eyes. My hand shook against the wall. Upstairs, Ben's cartoon kept playing, cheerful and oblivious, and in that moment I knew. Poker nights were over. The circle was broken. The cards had been dealt, and no reshuffle would fix the game. But this wasn't the end. Not yet. Because Drew was still staring at the closed door with a look I couldn't place. Fear, maybe, or resolve. And I knew Alex wasn't gone. He was outside, waiting, headlights off, hands gripping the wheel. And I knew this story wasn't finished until Mark saw him face to face. Because some truths you can't deliver by screenshot. Some truths need to bleed in person. And when that moment came, I wasn't sure if my job was to step in or to finally let the fall happen. We didn't leave. Not really. Mark told us to get out, but none of us went farther than the porch. Drew lit a cigarette he didn't finish. Noah paced the length of the railing like a caged animal. Kellen sat on the steps, chin in his hands, bracelets clinking every time he moved. I leaned against the siding, watching the night. The air smelled like cut grass and rain coming. Alex's car was parked a few houses down, engine off, windows dark. I could feel his presence more than see it, like static. Inside the house was too quiet. The muffled sobs had stopped. I imagined Elena packing in silence, Mark pacing like a ghost. I thought of Ben upstairs, curled around his stuffed cheetah, breathing deep, dreaming in a house he didn't know was splitting at the seams. "Someone should tell him to leave," Noah said suddenly, voice sharp. "Alex, he can't just sit out here like a vulture." Drew's jaw clenched. "He's my brother. I'll handle it." He flicked the cigarette into the street and walked down the sidewalk, shoulders squared. We watched him approach the car. At first, nothing. Then the door opened. Alex stepped out, hands shoved in his pockets, shoulders hunched like a kid caught sneaking home late. Drew gestured wildly, back toward the car, then toward the house. They argued in low voices we couldn't make out. Drew shoved him once. Not hard, but hard enough to make a point. "Should we?" Kellen asked, half standing. "No," I said. "Let them." But then Mark appeared in the doorway behind us. He didn't speak. He just stood there, framed by the light, watching his oldest friend and his wife's lover under the street lamp. His face was unreadable, a mask carved from something heavy. Elena was behind him, pale, a bag at her feet. She looked smaller than I'd ever seen her, like someone had turned the saturation down on her life. She caught my eye and mouthed, "Help him." I didn't know if she meant Mark or Ben or herself. Mark stepped off the porch. His footsteps on the walkway were deliberate, each one landing like a gavel. Drew and Alex broke off mid-argument when they saw him coming. For a second, none of them spoke. The air between them was too thick. Finally, Mark said, "Look at me." Alex did. And in that moment, 30 years of friendship, sleepovers, graduations, weddings, poker nights, sat between them like a stack of chips neither could cash. "You owed me the truth," Mark said evenly. "You owed me my house intact. You owed my son a family without cracks in the walls." His voice trembled once, then steadied. "And you took it." Alex swallowed. "No," Mark cut in. "You don't get a speech. You don't get a reason. You get to leave." Elena made a small sound behind him, but he didn't turn. His eyes never left Alex's. "I don't want you in my house again. I don't want you at my table. I don't want you near my son." His chest rose and fell. "Do you understand me?" Alex nodded once, slow. He looked broken in a way I'd never seen. Shoulders sagged, eyes hollow. He opened his mouth, closed it, then said quietly, "I loved you too." Drew grabbed Alex's arm, guiding him toward the car. Alex didn't resist. He slid inside, the door shutting with a heavy finality. The engine turned over. Headlights swept across us like a searchlight. Then he was gone, taillights shrinking into the dark. Silence. Just the hum of the street lamp and the buzz of cicadas. Mark turned back toward the house. Elena reached for him instinctively. He stepped aside. Her hand fell empty. She whispered, "Mark, please." "Not tonight," he said. His voice was flat, final. "Take the guest room. Tomorrow we figure out where you'll stay." Her face crumpled. She nodded, picked up her bag and disappeared inside without another word. Mark looked at me. For a second I thought he'd tell me to go too. Instead, he said, "Stay." Just that. So I did. We sat on the porch long after the others drifted away. Mark didn't talk. He just stared at the dark street where Alex's car had vanished. Eventually, he said, "You knew. You carried it." "I wanted proof," I admitted. "I didn't want to blow up your life on suspicion." He nodded, slow. "You did right, and too late, both at once." He rubbed his face with both hands. "God, Cole. How do I tell Ben?" I didn't have an answer. The sky began to lighten, a thin gray line over the rooftops. Mark hadn't moved. When the birds started, he finally stood. "Come inside," he said. "We've got a kid to wake up and a story to keep simple." We walked in together. The house smelled of stale tacos and something broken under the surface. Ben's footsteps padded on the stairs. He appeared in the doorway, hair sticking up, holding his cheetah. "Dad?" He yawned. "Is it Saturday? Do we still have pancakes?" Mark's face softened. He crouched, pulling his son close. "Yeah, buddy," he said. His voice caught once, then smoothed. "We've still got pancakes." And just like that, the morning began. But I knew. We all knew. Nothing about this house was the same. The poker table would gather dust. The circle of friends had a hole in it no reshuffle could hide. And somewhere out there, Alex was driving roads he couldn't come back from. I watched Mark flip pancakes with Ben chattering beside him, both pretending the world hadn't tilted. Elena moved silently in the background, ringless, eyes swollen, pouring juice like she was still part of the frame. And me, I stood in the doorway watching, knowing I was the witness, the one who saw it all fall apart, the one who'd have to help Mark rebuild, piece by painful piece, because some stories don't end with a bang. Some end with pancakes on a Saturday morning, in a house that no longer fits its name. And I wasn't sure if I'd been the hero, the audience, or the obstacle. Maybe all three. But I knew this. The truth was out, and the aftermath had only just begun. And that was today's story. A reminder that trust, once broken, can change everything. If you felt something while listening, you're not alone. This was Lily. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.